Today's video is one of those times where maybe I should be wearing a suit and a top hat, a monocle, and it would work a little bit better, but I didn't want to put on a suit just to shoot this video, so you've got me in a t-shirt, like usual. Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be going over with you guys 10 different clean, refined fragrances for gentlemen. Basically, these are scents that you want to wear when you want to feel well put together, when you want to smell like $1,000,000, when you want to smell like that quintessential gentlemanly type of guy. We've got a good mix here. Some of these are more expensive, some of these are more affordable, but they all do a really good job of getting across that gentlemanly, sophisticated kind of vibe in slightly different ways. We've got lots to talk about. Let's jump into it. We're gonna start things off with an affordable fragrance from the house of Banana Republic. Yes, just a mall fragrance brand, but this one's really solid. It's from their Icon line. It is Neroli Woods. And you could also go with a number of other fragrances from the Icon line and they would be able to work into this list pretty well. My absolute favorite is 78 Vintage Green, but I wanted a nice, affordable Neroli fragrance, and this one fits that bill. This one's got what it says on the front, Neroli and Woods. There's also Orange Blossom in there, but that's really what you're getting here, Neroli and Woods. So initially, when you first spray this one on, it's gonna have a nice white flower kind of sweetness to it. Very appealing, slightly soft, but really well done. And the white flowers here, the Orange Blossom and Neroli, last for quite a long time. So you've got that nice, fresh sort of sweetness, a light, semi-powdery touch at times, but really well done. A little bit watery as well, the way that those come across in a very good way. It's not an aquatic fragrance, it's just that kind of sweet, almost citric vibe that you get from the white florals. Sometimes has that little touch where it feels like maybe they've been spritzed with water. And then when you hit the far dry down, you've got sandalwood and cedar in here, which is where the woods come into play. And those as well, very clean, very well done. It's a little more expensive in store, but online you can pick this up for, I think, somewhere around 25 bucks, give or take. So again, not very expensive. Presentation is nice, cap is heavy, glass of the bottle is heavy. It's a really solid fragrance. So there we go, Neroli Woods, first fragrance, very affordable. Let's go with one that's a little bit more expensive. Not crazy expensive, but much more so than this one. It is Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette from Dior. This one's got lemon, bergamot, basil, and oak moss, along with a bunch of other notes. This is one of the absolute go-tos for a gentlemanly sort of fragrance. Yes, it is an older release, decades and decades old, but that doesn't matter. It smells fantastic. Super, super classy. This fragrance for me is a benchmark fragrance. So a lot of sophisticated daytime casual or office fragrances for men, I will compare them to this one and see how they stack up. Because for me, this one right here is a masterpiece. This is awesome. You've got that sharp citrus when you first spray it on. Again, it harkens back to the 50s, but it smells fantastic. It still works today. When I smell this, I don't go, oh, so dated, how can you pull that off? No, this stuff still works. And then in the dry down, you have that oak moss, again, giving it this classic masculine sort of feel. Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette, absolute classic. You can't make a list about refined, clean smelling, gentlemanly fragrances and not have Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette. You just can't do it. Next up is a more modern release. It's from Bulgari, and it is Bulgari Man Glacial Essence. This one has juniper, clearwood, ginger, and musk as some of the notes in the fragrance. When you first spray this one on, it does have a very pronounced, icy, refreshing, brisk feeling to it. So that's where the whole glacial essence, the whole icy facet of the fragrance comes into play right at the beginning. As it dries down, it does become a little bit more predictable, if you want to call it that, where the clearwood and the musk come in. So you basically get this sort of fuzzy, very clean, modern woody dry down. Super easy to wear, very inoffensive, great fragrance for spring and summer, especially daytime office kind of situations. Nobody's gonna feel offended by this one. You could also go with Bulgari Man Wood Neroli if you wanted a fragrance like this one that has a woodsy neroli sort of feel to it, but I didn't want to put that one in the list because then it does a lot of the same things that this one does. So Glacial Essence stands out a little bit more in this list, giving you that sort of brisk, very refreshing, poppy opening. From there, let's go to this one, Bottega Veneta Luzione. This one has bitter orange, cedar, lemon, and vetiver as some of the notes in the fragrance. And when you first spray this one on, it has an almost peppery, sort of citrus feeling to it. And that really is that bitter orange, comes out right away and grabs your attention. This one is done in more of a classic Italian cologne style. So it has 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the present, this kind of meeting of the old and current worlds all in one. Fragrance is fantastic in spring and summer. You could wear it in fall as well, maybe just spray a little bit more of it on. Performance is so-so on it. Really easy to wear casually, great to the office as well. Like many of the fragrances here, this one is a great melding of citrus and woods, though this one has that bitter orange off the top, makes it a little bit more unique. Next, this one, Lacoste Match Point. This one's got basil, grapefruit, cashmeran, and vetiver as some of the notes in the fragrance. And there are a whole bunch of Lacoste fragrances really that you could put into this list. Lacoste is really well known for clean fragrances. This one though, I think is slightly more grown up than most of the other Lacoste fragrances that you're gonna find, which is what makes it work in here so well. So you have that grapefruit and basil initially. It gives you this nice, slightly green, slightly herbal citrus punch off the top. Citrus, of course, very appealing in the opening. That's why you see it used in so many men's fragrances, and that is the case here too. As it dries down, you've got a very modern sort of dry down with the cashmeran playing a very prominent role. That gives you a warm, fuzzy sort of feeling with a masculine vetiver laying underneath of it. And it's not a very dirty vetiver note here, very clean, very reined in, very smooth. And also the whole idea of tennis being worked into the fragrance, and obviously that's a big part of the Lacoste brand in general, tennis. That works with the whole gentlemanly kind of vibe that they're going for a little bit here. Sporty, yet gentlemanly. Next up, an affordable fragrance from Karl Lagerfeld, Bois de Yuzu. This one has yuzu, ginger, moss, and a little extra citrus in there as well. Actually, I believe it has like 3 citrus notes, if I'm remembering correctly. You could also put Bois de Vetiver in here from the same house, but there's already a whole bunch of vetiver across these fragrances, so I decided to go a different route. Now this one is very clean, and this one is going to be for people that really want to prioritize that citrus, because it has ginger mixed with multiple citrus notes in the opening, so that's gonna give it this really nice, very poppy, bright, sparkly sort of citrus vibe. The yuzu is going to be the most prominent citrus in the opening, so that's gonna give you a little more tartness than you might normally find. And it smells really nice when you first spray this one on. Very enticing. When you hit the dry down, the moss is going to be the main note that you pick up, and it's gonna give you a very lightly earthy masculine dry down. Still though, stays clean the whole way through. The cost, next to nothing. I think you can pick this up 25 bucks, sometimes under. So it's very inexpensive, and the quality is actually quite high for the price. Up next, we have an Hermes. It is Eau de Pamplemousse Rose. This smells great. This smells awesome. I absolutely love it. So it's really simple as far as the note breakdown goes. You've got grapefruit in here, you've got orange, you've got rose, but this one is just, the citrus, it's juicy, it's bright, it's fresh, it's got a whole lot going on, very realistic. And then you have this rose that works in with everything absolutely perfectly. The rose is fresher to me than it is like a jammy rose or a dark rose or a powdery rose. Very fresh, almost watery at times, like it's, again, been spritzed with water, like I said earlier in this video, but that's kind of how it comes across. And it has a slight green facet that works in very well with the citrus. Now, this is an eau de cologne, so you'll see some people say that the performance is not very good, which is understandable. We're talking citrus and rose and an eau de cologne concentration, but the smell is fantastic. I don't care about the performance. I will spray this on 10,000 times and not care at all if it only lasts a few hours. The quality of the smell here is amazing. Spring and summertime, an absolute stunner. More of a daytime fragrance than evening fragrance. Very easily can be worn to the office or in more formal situations. It smells great. So if you're looking for an uplifting citrus fragrance with a touch of fresh rose in there, check that one out. Good. Up next, we got one from Acqua di Parma. It is Colognes Essenza. So yet another Italian cologne style fragrance. But if we're honest with ourselves, that style of fragrance is absolutely perfect for somebody that's trying to come across like a gentleman. I mean, that really is almost the blueprint for the gentlemanly fragrance, that sort of fragrance, that style. Neroli, bergamot, grapefruit, and jasmine are some of the notes in this fragrance. So you get, again, that nice white floral opening mixing with citrus, very, very, very clean, very high quality. And Acqua di Parma is a brand that you can sometimes find for really nice prices on discounters. So you can find 50 ml bottles sometimes in the $45, $50 range. And the quality of what you get for that price is astronomical. Great, great deals can be found on Acqua di Parma fragrances at discounters. So that's another spring, summer, fall fragrance, and that's really what most of these are. You can wear them in the winter as well. Just adjust your sprays up a little bit if you're gonna be out in the cold. If you're gonna be somewhere where it's air conditioned, like the office, frankly, it doesn't really matter. You can wear all of these. All right, let's keep it going. Next up, Mustache, the Eau de Toilette. This one's got lavender, lemon, bergamot, and musk as some of the notes in the fragrance. And yes, this one also has an old school feel to it. And that's because it's the original 1949. It says it right on the front. Trust me though, this does not smell dated. This stuff rocks for the price. You can get this for really, really, really cheap at discounters, and it smells so good for the price. The lemon here is a little bit creamy in the opening. It's not ultra sharp, so that gives it a little bit of a difference towards some of the other fragrances that we're talking about here that do have a more tart or sharp or bitter opening. This one's going to appeal more to people middle-aged and up, most likely, unless you're into old school kind of fragrances as a younger guy, which if you are, more power to you. It's got a little bit of a soapiness at times, sort of a barbershop-y feel, but really well done and a fantastic buy for the price, as I mentioned before. And last up on this list is a fragrance that you can find at TJ Maxx and Ross's in the US with some frequency. It was also really inexpensive for a while on FragranceNet and Fragrance X. I actually just checked before doing this video on the price, and it has gone up a lot at discounters. Now it's going for between 50 and 60 bucks, it looks like. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but the price on this one is going up. It is Zegna Uomo. This one has violet leaves, a lot of citrus notes, including bergamot and vetiver as some of the notes in the fragrance. The bottle, kind of love it or hate it, I feel like. Really tall and thin, and it has these ridges on the glass, which again, you'll either think look cool or you'll be like, I don't really like it. And the cap sucks. This one is metallic. It's got a little bit of minerality in there, a little bit of soapiness. The violet leaf plays a big part in the fragrance. The citrus here, a little bit sharp. It is bright, but it's not the overly sweet, juicy type. Things here, really sharp, very clean, very fresh, very uplifting, very brisk, but done in a way that is not concentrating on sweetness. So you're not gonna find a whole lot of that, like tonka or vanilla or anything like that in here. The fragrance is really nice. For a long time, this was a fantastic inexpensive buy. Like I said, price is going up, not sure why, but Zegna Uomo, last one on this list. So there we go, guys. 10 different fragrances that are fantastic smelling, clean, gentlemanly, refined fragrances for you to wear spring, summer, fall, potentially winter as well. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.